How did you learn about DMAC?
Oh my gosh, who doesn't know about DMAC, right?
I don't know how I learned about it. It just, hasn't it always existed? You know?
One of my professors was like, "Oh, you should do DMAC," and I was like, "What is that?"
People were like, one of the great things about OSU is you get to go to DMAC for free, and I was like, what the heck is that? Like, that means nothing to me. Like, what is DMAC?
Was circulated within the department to see if there was anybody who was interested in going, and I'd never even actually heard of the program, but I clicked on it and looked at the dates, and it was 2 weeks.
I think I learned about it through someone I met from Computers and Writing, and I was friends with her on Facebook, and I think she said something about DMAC, and I was like, what's that? So I Googled it and looked up what it was.
And then as I mentioned to a couple people that I was coming to this, they were like, oh, they were so impressed. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know I was supposed to be so impressed that I was going to do this thing. I didn't realize it had such a long history.
I was describing it to me as like summer camp, or like it's a digital media boot camp. It was described as that. It was described as like summer camp to me, which has been pretty accurate. I feel like it is a lot like summer camp. I mean, you're just like put in this sort of intense, really intensive like contact with this small group of people for like 2 weeks, and it's during the summer, and like it's just like exhausting and whatnot. So I think that was a pretty accurate representation.
It's an institute, but it's not really tuition, it's not really a class, but you're learning things.
It's just like mind-blowing how the professional and the personal can be interwoven, and how that can, turn out to be something both scholarly, but also something even more important than scholarly.
I think it's for the fellowship. I think it's because you meet people, you see what other people are doing, you get to see other people's work, you get to talk to people.
To me, it's been a very, very welcoming environment, which I don't say that easily about a lot of institutes and conferences and extended time periods, sharing ideas.
I would say that I've always had this interest in digital media, and I keep reading about it, and I keep reading all the scholarship on it, but not actually doing any of the digital media stuff.
Well, I think it's because I want to do my job well as a writing teacher.
So it's kind of funny that I have read a bunch of the theoretical stuff, but haven't actually done it, and I think a lot of people are probably in that camp.
So we're bringing some stuff back, and we're going to try to incorporate it into our curriculum and into our classes.
I primarily think of this in terms of what I'll be able to do in the classroom that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
And we have a lot of people who want to do things, but maybe we don't have the language or the tools right now.
So for professional development, there's that opportunity to try out an idea, just put it into words and watch someone's face, to see how wacky it is or not.
It's kind of a unique learning community in which graduate students and faculty members are kind of communicating on a more sort of equal playing field, I guess.
And I know how important it is for graduate students to come to think about themselves as professionals. So the thing that I find so great about this is that you guys are teaching me, and that's a great place for you all to be, to experience that and to realize, hey, I have something to contribute to this, and here I'm talking to this person who's an associate professor, and I'm a doctoral student or an aspiring doctoral student or whatever, and it's genuine.
We have participants from all different kinds of institutions at all different stages in their careers and lives. My guess is everyone who's participated in DMAC this year probably views their own professional development in slightly different, nuanced ways.
I first heard about DMAC from a colleague in the English department at Ohio State, who also happened to be the associate director of the time at DMAC, and she encouraged me to attend. At the time, I was teaching a first-year writing class in which I was using a little bit of digital media. I was having the students use markup language to write their assignments. And I'd taken a couple of graduate seminars in digital media, so I thought that I would give DMAC a shot. And after that, I had the opportunity to serve as the associate director of DMAC. And as I was starting that work and looking at the web pages that were archived on the DMAC server, I became interested in who's come to the Institute, where they've come from, when they came, how often an institution sent people, what they hoped to get out of DMAC, what they did when they went back to their home institution. So I started compiling this data, and I quickly realized its potential to show us something about DMAC that we don't see right now. DMAC is a very complicated machine, and it's often the labor of love for those of us that put it on, and limited time and limited resources mean that we're often looking at DMAC from the ground, with limited resources in the moment. And what I want to do with this article is look at DMAC from as broad a scope as possible, or asking what DMAC would look like if we looked at it from as high an altitude as possible. As we zoom out, into what picture will those pixels dissolve? What can we see with this kind of a distant reading of DMAC? So I'm offering some conclusions here in this article, but they're all preliminary. They're partial. The media elements are meant to be freestanding, interactive artifacts that can convey a lot more about DMAC than I can hope to offer in alphabetic text. So I encourage you to interact with those elements as much as you can. And ultimately, it's in the spirit of DMAC. I think that I'm offering these as a testament to how the different modalities can convey powerful perspectives about an institution like DMAC, in the hope that we can come to understand not only how DMAC itself works, but also if we can look and find a model for how to understand professional development institutions in the humanities at large.